Hello Bloomington, I'm Mayor Tim Busse, and this is the Council Minute for the week of February 22nd. Our meeting this week started with a spotlight on the arts in Bloomington. I'm sure many of you have been to the Bloomington Center for the Arts at Civic Plaza to see a show, enjoy a concert, wander through the galleries, or take a class. Personally, I've missed those things terribly over the past 11 months, and I'm guessing many of you have as well. I'm never shy about saying that the arts are essential to the quality of life in any vibrant city. That's why we should be so appreciative the Bloomington Center for the Arts was included in the Civic Plaza project 2 decades ago. Art brings a community together. Students involved in the arts do better academically. The arts build friendship and community. As Picasso said, the purpose of art is washing the dust of daily life off our souls. But one thing you may not realize is how much the arts contribute to our economy right here in Bloomington. How much, you might ask? We'll try this one on for size. Back in 2019, the economic impact of arts and culture in Bloomington was more than $12 million. That's according to a study that was done by Creative Minnesota, an organization that produces research about Minnesota's arts and creative sector. This week, the council heard a presentation from the executive director of the Minnesota Citizens for the Arts on the profound and lasting impact that arts and culture have on the social, cultural, and economic well-being of the city of Bloomington. Here are some of the numbers from the study. So in Minnesota, there are more than 1,900 arts and cultural organizations. And in 2019, more than 23 million people attended arts and cultural performances, exhibits, and events. The statewide economic impact is $2.1 billion. In Bloomington, more than 280,000 people attended arts and culture events in 2019. The arts also served nearly 82,000 students. There are 25 arts organizations in Bloomington, and arts and culture in Bloomington supports 296 jobs. Among the study's highlights, it was noted that the impact of the Bloomington art scene is extraordinary, all the more so because it exists within the competitive sphere of 2 major urban centers. Bloomington is a major creative hub to the artists in Hennepin County with venues such as Artistry, with the Bloomington Fine Arts Council, and with our unique creative placemaking program. Art is central to the sustainability and growth of the regional creative economy. Bloomington's creative nonprofits are a force of production and a workforce growth. They are an economy and an economic driver all their own. The City Council was very complimentary of the arts and creative sector in Bloomington, even describing the arts as the soul of the community. But maybe the best last word on this comes directly from the report, from Dr. Jerry Lukart, who is the conductor and artistic director of the Medalist Concert Band right here in Bloomington. Dr. Lukart said, "The arts are like a light. When they shine brightly, they fill our community with hope and possibility." I think I speak for all of my colleagues on the council when I say we are looking forward to being able to enjoy the full spectrum of the arts again when the pandemic finally subsides. Until then, you can still appreciate the work of visual artists at the Greenberg Gallery and the Atrium Gallery at the Bloomington Center for the Arts. Be sure to check them out. I've shared with you on a number of occasions that our city staff and our city council have been working together over the past couple of years to do in-depth service assessments throughout the city's organization. This week, we heard from the Bloomington Police Department on the results of an operational study of our Public Safety Answering Point, or what is more commonly referred to as the Dispatch Center. Bloomington is one of only a handful of cities in the metro area that has its own dispatch center. The dispatchers operate within the command structure of the Bloomington Police Department, and other than the patrol division, the Dispatch Center is the only 24-hour public-facing operation in our city government. Our dispatchers handle 911 and 10-digit direct dial calls for both police and fire services. They interact closely with Alina for emergency medical services, and they have a unique relationship with the Security and Dispatch Center at the Mall of America. One of the most distressing results of the study is how difficult it is to recruit and retain dispatchers. The authorized staffing for Bloomington Dispatch is for 13 dispatchers and for 1 supervisor. Our dispatch center hasn't been at that authorized level since 2015 due to high rates of turnover and a very limited pool of candidates to recruit from. And to be clear, that isn't an issue unique to Bloomington. Staffing shortages in dispatch centers are a statewide issue. The dispatchers here in Bloomington are also very busy. Although staffed as a small public safety answering point, by national standards, the volume of calls and CAT events is twice the average number that would occur in medium-sized operations with larger staff allocations around the country. Now, one key measurement we look at is the telephone answering time. In 2019, answering time typically ranged from 4.5 to 8.6 seconds, which is better than the industry standard of 10 to 20 seconds, so very well done there. Another key measurement, call processing time, provides an opportunity for improvement. The Bloomington Fire Service Assessment that was completed last year found that call processing time for fire response was 71 seconds longer than national standards. Staff in police and fire are already working together to address that issue with new technology and new processes. And finally, the report found that too little funding is provided for ongoing training of staff and that too much overtime worked poses the risk of decreasing productivity and possible errors. The staff is already at work taking actions on the recommendations of the consultant. Those recommendations focus on strategies to address the persistent staffing problems, the development of a quality assurance program to make sure that the operation is meeting standards, and looking at technology that will improve efficiency and productivity. I want to thank our staff for taking on these service assessments. We've initiated these studies because it's important to consistently assess whether how we've been doing business for a long time is still the best and the right way to deliver those services. The community is changing. Technology is changing. The employment market is changing. With all of this change, we need to make sure that our services are not just keeping up with the pace of change, but are anticipating it and making sure we're prepared for the future. Now, case in point, right after hearing the results of the dispatch service assessment, staff presented the scope of work for our next service assessment. This one will study our facilities maintenance division and the systems we have in place to take care of city facilities, develop performance measures, and manage projects. That study is expected to take about 6 months, and of course we'll report back to you when it's complete. At this time every year, the City Council takes on one of the hardest jobs we have to tackle. That is, deciding who should be appointed to the city's advisory boards and commissions. I say it's a hard job because every year we get applications from so many people wanting to volunteer their time and service to the community that it's disappointing that we're only able to choose just a few. This year was no different. In fact, this may have been the toughest year since I've been on the City Council. Now, over the past year, we've been working with our staff in the Community Outreach and Engagement Division to overhaul the commission selection process. That included intentional and targeted outreach to community members to ensure that the applicant pool would reflect the rich diversity of the Bloomington community. Well, our staff in co-ed, and that's the Community Outreach and Engagement Division, they didn't let us down. This year, we had more than 80 applicants for 17 openings on 5 boards and commissions. And I've got to tell you, I was blown away by the talent and the experience of all of the applicants. These boards and commissions do really important work, moving policy and program recommendations through the city staff and the City Council. If you've been watching our meetings in January and February, you've seen a number of them presenting the summary of their accomplishments in 2020 and laying out their work plans for 2021. They are doing a lot of good work. On Monday night, we appointed new members to the Advisory Board of Health, to our Creative Placemaking Commission, the Human Rights Commission, the Parks, Arts, and Recreation Commission, and the Sustainability Commission. We also make appointments at various times of the year to the Bloomington Housing and Redevelopment Authority, to the Bloomington Port Authority, the Board of Appeal and Equalization, the Merit Board, and the Planning Commission. The work of governing our city depends on resident involvement and participation, and we are so grateful for all of you who step forward and express your desire to help serve your fellow citizens by volunteering to be on our boards and commissions. Thank you all so very much. That is a wrap on this week's Council Minute. I hope to see you again next week. Stay safe, Bloomington.